steps. In 1996, musicians Steve Crosby and Barry Upton, an ex-member of Brotherhood of Man, wrote a novelty pop song, hoping to cash in on the growing trend of line dancing, and decided to manufacture a pop group to perform it. As we so often see in the pop sphere, an advert is placed in Stage magazine and thousands of struggling theatre types throw their penny into the musical lottery, an opportunity for fame-hungry children's entertainers to win a temporary life of smoke and mirrors in return for their dignity. TV producer Tim Byrne is brought in as manager and the group are chosen. Lisa, Derek, Maddie, H and Mitch. During the early stages, founders Crosby and Upton get cold feet and jump ship, followed by 3 of the members, feeling that it's going nowhere. But since there's a song, concept and willing participants, Byrne decides to push it over the line himself with the remaining 2, H and Lisa. He has a glint in his eye for one of them and would love the opportunity to flex his industry muscles around this succulent young meat, even if just for one song. So quickly finds replacements, Claire, Faye and Lee, in the hope of at least having a novelty hit, make a few quid back, and maybe shoot his web into the eye of his crush. Having previously worked on shows like The Word and The Hitman and Her, he approaches 80s pop mogul Pete Waterman with the concept, and he agrees to it after hearing the demo for what will be their single, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lee's given the feature slot and does the rap. He thinks that he's been scouted as the frontman, but in reality, it needed to be a male voice and H rapped with a Welsh accent. It peaks at number 14 but stays in the charts for several weeks, so the decision to move forward with Waterman is made. Last thing on my mind, a Bananarama song that had only reached number 64 reaches number 6. Then One for Sorrow, featuring Claire on vocals, reaches number 2. But seeds of jealousy are sown as the backing singers aren't happy with everything they've been handed. They feel that they should also be allowed to sing lead vocals despite their average abilities. Tragedy scores them their first number 1, and in their first year they've released 4 consecutive top 20s, including a number 1. Now it's time to turn up the heat and print some money. Better Best Forgotten, number 2. Thank You for the Music, number 4. Love's Got a Hold of My Heart, number 2. After the Love Has Gone, number 5. Around this time, the group are chosen to support Britney Spears on her US tour. She takes a liking to H and invites him to travel on her private jet with her, which he grabs with both hands, whilst the others travel on a coach together. Jealousy ensues and the rest of the group stamp around like toddlers that they have to cope with the state-of-the-art tour bus. They wonder why H seems so full of himself, and why he's been getting more TV work and front covers than the others, before the bomb finally drops. Tim's been marinating this young chicken since the beginning, and as their minds start spinning, a lot of things start making sense. The annoying little prick's been jumping between everyone like a bitch, full of Tim's beans and safe in the knowledge that he can say and do whatever he wants, whilst reporting back to his sugar daddy. He'd mistakenly confided in Claire, but whilst he was jetting around with Brittany as her personal jester, she threw him under the bus. The rest of the group feel understandably deceived and their minds go into overdrive. It's the death knell. The next single, Say You'll Be Mine, reaches number 4. And 1999 comes and goes with another 4 consecutive top 5s. The group are exhausted and struggling to cope with the recent H-bomb, but the show must go on. We start the new millennium with Deeper Shade of Blue, number 4. And it's around this time that psychological spiral intensifies and Claire finally gives in to her uncontrollable urge to be latched. Despite being a gormless knobhead, he's a smooth operator and a decorated vag veteran, an eager shoulder to cry on after a few vinos, and they have a brief romance, adding to the slow corrosion of any remaining dynamics. Now really feeling the pressure, tired and emotionally drained, trails of interband and management sex and lies thrown amongst paranoia and insecurity, the Disney gloss is wearing off, and during an interview they're accused of being racists. It quoted Lee Latchford Evans as saying, "I think there should be more jobs for English people," and fellow bandmate and fuck buddy Claire Richards asking, "Why are we paying for all of these people to come into our country anyway?" in an apparent reference to asylum seekers. The group insists that their comments have been taken out of context and that they condemn all forms of racism. In another interview, Lisa says that she thinks we should bring back capital punishment before releasing their new single, When I Say Goodbye, number 5. Then Stomp scores them their second number 1 to finish the year off. On paper, it's a legendary run of hits. Everyone's a millionaire with everything they've ever wanted. But in reality, their weak spirits and delusional state of mind turn this fun group of holiday camp clowns into 5 clout-chasing rich kids that dislike each other. In 2001, they release It's the Way You Make Me Feel, number 2, Here and Now, number 4, Chain Reaction, number 2, and Words Are Not Enough, number 5. 14 consecutive top 5s from this seemingly unstoppable pop juggernaut. But on the last date of their tour, Claire and H announced that they're leaving the band, whipping the magic carpet from under the feet of the backing singers, quickly setting up a new duo and releasing the singles. DJ number 3, Half a Heart number 8, and All Out of Love number 10. It's all too much for Faye, who turns to the bottle. Lee decides that his husky voice transcends the pop market and decides to take the rock world by storm with his new identity, The Latch. He brags to his new broke bandmates about all the fanny and cash he's smashed, whilst insisting that there'll be plenty for them once they get signed. Claire also wins MasterChef, whilst Lisa's given her own reality show by MTV.
It's time for one last roll of the dice in the fame game. It's time for Totally Scott Lee, starring Lisa Scott Lee as the fallen star.
It's based around the concept of a thick-as-pig shit karaoke queen that had success as a dancer and backing vocalist in a manufactured pop act that now thinks she deserves a solo singing career, and the equally as tasteless friends and family that feed off the scraps of her cheap and nasty plan.
Johnny Shentle as the husband.
That's her husband, Johnny Shentle from Hearsay. You remember Johnny? Me neither. He replaced Kim Marsh in 2002, apparently.
Andy Scott Lee as the brother.
Andy Scott Lee, one of the biggest skid marks in this corner of the sewer. Never quite made it round the U-bend, but still famous for being Lisa's brother. But was also part of Richard and Judy's Boys, for those of you that remember.
Michelle Heaton as the girlfriend.
Michelle Heaton from Liberty X, a fame-hungry pisshead with no discernible talent, doing whatever a girl's got to do to stay in the spotlight.
Nathan Moore as the manager.
That's Nathan from Brother Beyond, a well-preserved pop artifact and convicted curb crawler, still getting his kicks in the gutter. So it's a grubby shit show, with big potential, but ruined with scripted scenarios and bad acting. Watching it is not time well spent.
Chasing fame is a desperate game. Totally Scott Lee starts Sunday at 9 on MTV.
Unlike the next series, the shoot-off from Totally Scott Lee, Totally Boy Band, featuring The Latch.
What number? Just play number 1, fuck it. It's very bandy. It's big Latch sound.
He lets them know that it's very bandy, just in case they're confused with his fresh new sound. Bradley murmurs and gestures his hands in good faith, then realises he has nothing to say and clams up, awkwardly rocking his head to the reggae offbeat.
Said I bring the rock into it.
He told them he was going to bring the rock into it, so welcome to the world of The Latch. The Latch's connection to the rock underworld is his guitarist Simon J. Pinto, general session guy who briefly played drums with 70s metal band Angel Witch, giving it 100%. He knows that these guys don't get the rock vibe, with their clean vocals and programmed backing tracks, but he's a bit pissed off that they didn't even get to the chorus. what's he got to prove?
At this moment in time, I'm not feeling any pressure whatsoever. I'm very surprised how quickly the guys have got on. So I think we will come up, well, we are coming up with some really, really good tunes.
You haven't come up with any good tunes. The other guys have actually shown some creative ability and cobbled together a half-decent turd nugget, but the Latch has done fuck all. Oblivious that his bandmates don't like him and plan to fire him, he heads to the gallows with a smile, ready to rock out and shoot the shit with his new mates.
It's not his fault that this isn't his style of music. It's not his fault that he doesn't write and that he doesn't sing. It's maybe a bit frustrating that he thinks he can and does, but he can't.
Meanwhile, they've had a couple of beers to calm the nerves and agree that the American beefcake should grab the bull by the horns, whilst they put on their best serious faces.
There's some definite issues, Lee, that we wanted to talk to you about. Since we've been in the studio, you're not really contributing much.
Oh man, not the response of an artist defending their craft, or even a man protecting his pride. He stares into Danny's eyes and just sees the face from his bedroom wall. Starstruck by the rectangular-headed pop primate, he tries to bat it off as banter, but the screws keep turning.
And, you're not really singing much.
Right, he says, cheeks now flushing as he gulps his water, realizing that one of his heroes is publicly flogging him.
And we think that's going to become even more of a problem in the future.
Okay. As much as he wants to argue, he can't. He knows that he's no match for Danny's 80 million records worldwide compared to his 20.
So, basically for me, you know, as far as me personally, I would like to leave here, you know, I would like you to leave here and leave the group. That's how I feel. If anyone else wants to chime.
Like an old laptop, the light's still on, but the screen's frozen. He desperately tries to restart himself, but he's quickly passed over to the second in command for diagnosis.
I personally, if I was to look, you're in the studio with Lee tomorrow, I would actually automatically head down and think, shit, I've got to work my ass off. I would sit there and think, shit, I've got to write a song by myself.
He's struggling to take constructive criticism from a man that's only sold 4 million. A man that doesn't understand the essence of real rock and roll. Who's Dave Bowers anyway?
What do you want me to say to that?
Nothing really. I don't know what you can
It's
say.
like, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm just shocked. That's so, you know, what do you expect me to say? You bring me into the firing line and then go, right, what do you want to do?
Nobody asked you what you wanted to do. This is an unmistakable firing, and you'd be well served to either defend yourself or do one.
It's like, I'm quite shocked about the whole thing because I do...
We didn't bring you.
Any self-respecting man would have picked up on the atmosphere before this and showed some spine. Instead, assuming that he'd scored another well-paid job as a dancer, he let the other guys carry all the weight.
But listen, we didn't bring you into the firing line. This is the best way we could do it.
Do you guys actually want me in this or not? At the moment you're saying no. I'm getting that vibe.
You danced and mimed yourself into financial retirement, yet still humiliating yourself out of desperation.
You know, all I can do is just step up the gear. You know, if you really feel I'm like this dead weight that's pretty much pile of shit that isn't going to help, then...
The final cheap emotional trick, hoping that at least one of them will feel sorry for him and throw him a lifeline.
There doesn't seem like much else to do for us, because none of us are really going to be happy with the situation the way it is.
Okay. No, there's nothing else to say, so I'll go.
His buddy Bradley, who's been quietly hiding behind the other three, nervously mumbles that he doesn't know what to say, before smiling like he just farted.
I do feel upset and I do feel shocked. I just don't think I deserve not to be in it.
So this is the entitled Muppets mentality. Not even he can say that he deserves to be in the group. Instead, stating that he doesn't think he deserves not to be in it.
I think that's the thing that's bugging me. Like I said, there's no way all of them are as equally as talented as they all think they are.
Without a moment of self-reflection, he throws us his best defense. There's no way all of them are as equally talented as they think they are. This is what happens when you organise a fictitious celebration for talentless puppets to bathe in. Once the industry's wiped their arse on them and given them compensation, they struggle to cope with reality. Let's get some sleep, and hopefully he'll be a bit more grown up and realistic in the morning.
I like the idea of the project, and obviously living the lifestyle again, you know, making the videos, travelling, meeting people, spending time in studios writing, because I actually do enjoy that.
He's just not equipped with the intelligence to understand that all of these things are necessary duties for a real musician, and earned within the field of art, using tireless practice and vision, not an entitlement for a spoiled mummy's boy who's already had their hand out.
Hello?
Hi Lee, it's Jonathan Shalett.
How are you, mate? You alright?
I've had a conference call with the 4 members of the group. They don't want to continue with you in the group, which really gives me no option but to confirm that you've got to leave the group.
It's over, you soppy twat. This is like one of those creepy guys that goes on a couple of dates with a girl and tries every trick in the book to emotionally trap her and avoid being rejected, like a leech that needs scraping off with a hunting knife.
I totally understand your side of it, and I understand you've got to go forward with the project as it is. I don't think it's, I don't think it's very humane.
He thinks it's inhumane, like child labour or factory farming. Lee's suffering a violation of human dignity that needs to be addressed.
I think it's right, and I don't think it's professional the way it's been done. I really don't.
They've made their decisions.
Yeah.
I guess there comes a point where I have to draw a line under it.
Okay then. I'll speak to you later, Jonathan. Take care. Bye, mate. Bye.
At least now he knows. It's good to know. Come on the latch, pick yourself up and give us a bit, Brent.
Mr. Shalett. That's the manager there. Apparently, Danny's been on the phone. Danny, he's the instigator, man. It's all Danny. On the phone to Jonathan, and I don't think they're going to change their minds by the sound of it.
He still feels that there's a chance they might change their mind. But let's just assume that they're not going to. If Lee could do anything Lee wanted to do, what would Lee do?
It's really now, what does Lee do? Where does Lee go from here, I think? Is Lee going to make this work? Is there a solo project from Lee? Is there a band project from Lee? Who knows?
So now we're in the centre of the free fall stage. Reality TV shows and failed solo projects. So let's wait and see what the future holds. Peace and love.